to Long War of the Chosen playthrough. This first episode will cover my game setup, Operation Gatecrasher, and base management up until the second mission is ready to launch. First off, thank you to all the awesome creators who have worked hard to mod content for XCOM 2. It's a really prolific community, and most of it is available on the Steam Workshop. Regarding mods, I'm playing with Long War of the Chosen, a complete overhaul mod with many facets I will introduce as they come up in-game. Secondly, I am using the Peek from Concealment mod, which does make gameplay easier, but allows some flexibility when scouting and starting engagements, which, with the noise system added in Long War of the Chosen, helps mitigate immersion breaking of the alien pod mechanics, which I find to be a little finicky. I'm also using some interface mods, which I'll introduce soon. My character pool is stocked with lore-friendly badasses from Lark's and Combine's character pools, with some custom downloaded characters from appropriate 80s sci-fi movies. I certainly welcome viewer-submitted characters and will be glad to add you to the game. As for the beginning setup, launching Long War of the Chosen, I am choosing Commander difficulty, as I have played a little bit of Long War before. Reducing the beginner voiceover. And in the advanced options, I'm gonna let my ally from the War of the Chosen DLC be randomly selected for me. But what I am going to do is enable the Chosen, which is an intimidating prospect because Long War by default has them disabled. To mitigate this increase in difficulty, I am going to enable the resistance orders, which Long War by default has disabled, and I'm also going to allow, through the training school, multiple class abilities of the same rank to be purchased, which, if I manage to get soldiers leveled up and dump a whole bunch of experience into them, we'll be able to combo some really overpowered abilities, which I'm hoping will help deal with the Chosen. I am not going to be playing with Iron Man enabled, however this is going to be an Honest Man campaign, and I will not be reverting any saves unless some sort of crash occurs. Integrated DLC, and my assumption is most people have seen these cutscenes before, so I will not be playing with them.
Excitement can...
Operation Gatecrasher. Here we go. It's a little different in Long War. Alright, so we've got a ambush enemy troops type mission, which is Gatecrasher. So rather than planting an explosive on the propaganda, I simply have to, without a timer, eliminate all the enemy forces. The first thing you'll notice is that I have 6 soldiers at my disposal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try 9. Yeah, Long War. Lots of soldiers. And later on, I'll actually have a choice of how many I want to send on a given mission, based on how long it'll take to prepare for that number of soldiers to go, and various other mechanics, which are really awesome. But first, let's meet who we've got. First, I noticed Vasquez from Aliens, which is exciting. We've got Shane Walsh from The Walking Dead. Mechanic, Lena Venkatesan. And we've got Dale from Walking Dead as well. Selamat, Benny Tejo, and Maggie from The Walking Dead. Wow, okay, this is fun. And we've got Fury, and this is my randomly selected extra class. Looks like we got a Templar, which is pretty good news. I like the Reapers a lot, and the Skirmishers are definitely useful, but there's a whole lot of class variety that these rookies will get to promote into. And Junior, Mateus Soto. And looks like that's it. Okay. So what's nice is for this first mission, it's timerless, so I can take as much time as I want to achieve these goals. Oh, but first, I'm actually going to go into the options and enable some long war options. So let's see. From the abilities menu, I will be making sure that I can view the locked perks. This will help me plan better, especially since I will be able to double dip within the same rank abilities as I set it up. And for the campaign, because I really like the RNG here, I'm going to activate Hidden Potential, which will mean that different classes don't have the same stat increases depending on which, as they level up. So I might get a sniper with particularly low aim, which means I might want to make them a gunslinger or something like that. Additionally, I really like the idea of Red Fog, which basically penalizes stats of entities, both XCOM and aliens, based on how much damage they've taken. And I'm going to keep it as quadratic because I haven't really experimented with this too much, but I'm excited to see. I've always had a problem in RPGs and otherwise where at one hit point you're just as capable as at maximum health status, so this will actually really make medkits important, especially when my soldiers are able to survive more than a single hit. And it'll mean that keeping everyone at tip-top shape is all the more useful. It's also going to mean that I don't have to totally kill an alien before I have more or less neutralized it. And then lastly, I will be enabling pause on recruit. This is useful for the haven management on the geoscape, which I will get to as soon as we are done with this mission. All right. So first thing, I mentioned I have the Peek from Concealment mod, which I'd like to just sort of demonstrate the concept of quickly. We've got, we don't know if there's any aliens out here, and aliens, advent, etc. come in pods. So it makes it a really risky prospect to say, if I was on the top of this crate right here, to just simply take a little peek over the edge here, because if there was an alien right there, these two squares would be would break concealment. However, with the mod I have activated, I can look over half cover if there's a height advantage that I've got. It also means that I could go from this square to this square if there was an alien right here, and because I have the advantage of concealment, I'd be able to see them without breaking concealment. So I'm not just sprinting around the corner, which does change the mechanics pretty considerably, but I like the story it tells better. So what I'm going to be doing is going to look a little foolhardy with that in mind, but my assumption is that these are hard-boiled resistance operatives, and will make sure not to profile themselves when looking around corners.
That location.
So I'm starting off with a bunch of rookies, and I got a whole bunch of them. The other thing is I'm starting off in Long War with a frag and a flashbang on each, which is not something you have access to in the vanilla game. And while we do just have the rifle, with these utility items, that makes them pretty versatile. And basically, I still want to just ambush one pod at a time, but in Long War, depending on the weapons you're using, you will attract other pods, rather than having to wait for them to randomly run into you, based on the noise mechanic I mentioned earlier.
Roger that. On my way. Closing on target position now. On my way.
Alright.
Rolling.
Having consumed all my blue moves, even with the mods I have, I don't want to extend past this point because I don't want it to move and then be discovered and have anyone trapped out in the open. So there's a wonderful mod called Smart Overwatch All, which, if I activate, will just have everyone Overwatch, and this makes the crawl during the first stages of the game much easier to deal with. It will also automatically reload if there is an available action point and the magazine needs reload.
Designated position. Heading to that location. Heading there now. Okay. We march toward emplacement. Heading out. That's affirmative.
Moving to designated coordinates.
Eyes affirmative. Covering now. Scanning. On Overwatch. Moving to Overwatch. Huh?
Okay, so we got a little noise from this area. We've got as much time as we need, so there's no reason not to have a perfect first encounter.
Headed there now. Understood. Moving out. On the move. As you direct. Getting it done. Move! Got it. I'm on it. Got my eyes on. Scanning. Shh. I think I heard something. Understood. Moving out.
All right.
These guys make up the bulk of the Advent forces we've dealt with. They're disciplined and well-equipped, but their obedience makes them predictable.
So, with Long War, even at this early stage, we've got a variety of enemy types. The engineers, I know, have access to a grenade launcher, gunner a light machine gun, the 2 troopers, and the sentry. That looks like a assault rifle. I'm not really sure what they do, so we'll find out. One thing I do want to mention is all of my soldiers come with ablative armor, which is sort of like an extra health pool, where if they're damaged within this band, which is more likely than you'd think given Long War's graze mechanic, which you'll see shortly, that health will be permanently removed, but they won't suffer any injury and require recovery time. So it'll still count as a perfect mission if I lose some of that ablative armor.
Moving to designated coordinates.
But even on Commander difficulty, I think this first mission is pretty stacked in my favor. So let's make the best of it.
Moving to position. Moving. You have my trust. Moving.
Position confirmed.
Okay. Let's see which direction they're going.
Roger. Got my eyes on.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so there's a lot of
The
armor
Advent
on that
officers seem
drone.
more capable than the grunts. We're not sure whether to chalk it up to training or stricter mind control.
And that is a very tempting AoE blob. Alright, so some of the UI indicators I have, which I believe are from Gotcha Again, a mod, will indicate when I'll break concealment. They'll also, when a soldier isn't concealed, will indicate when it will trigger a pod. In addition, it highlights when given positions will result in flanks more reliably than the base game. So a very welcome addition. I think I can slip up to this high cover, but my goodness, I would love to throw a grenade in that mess. Still not sure if I want to take on both of those pods at the same time. So you'll notice that I don't, theoretically, and it's not 100% reliable, but theoretically this wouldn't break concealment because of the cover that this large object with the full cover is providing. So it says I can go here. I'm not sure if I trust that. But as soon as my soldier passes through a second square of concealment break, such as this half cover here, it will break concealment. So the peak from concealment basically gives you a single square of immunity, although that's being pretty generous here. If you stop here, but if you dart right there, so it and there's a mod you have to install where the previews you get from Gotcha Again mod actually line up, and it's been pretty reliable so far. So for this, well, how far can I get that grenade? Have to get a little closer. Let's take this single move and see if we see anything up on the roof. Doesn't look like it, so theoretically I could move almost everyone up here and get the high ground. Which would be nice.
Roger that.
And
Position
so
confirmed.
flank from here. Yeah. So it's just a little bit more forgiving, which lets you set up a little more flexibly.
That's affirmative.
My Templar I want as close as possible.
Onward. Confirmed.
Alright, and we'll let that opportunity go by and take on one group at a time. And now there's no way out from here, because starting in a square, you're still going to be passing through 2. I'm just going to continue to Overwatch, and
Moving to Overwatch.
Roger. Got my eyes
if
on
it breaks out, it breaks out.
my eyes on.
Yeah, there we go.
They found us.
Well, at least we all get shots.
Not good.
That's it.
It's our first graze.
X-ray neutralized.
Possible intel located. Hostile target down.
Not even close.
Alright. What's in Templar range? You are. And actually, this is, it'll show how noisy this is. So, I don't think there's just 2 pods on this map. So, this will likely attract more. If they're within range of, this breaking glass. I'd kind of like to get you to... Where's protected? Apparently I can hit you from in there, but you're very exposed from this area. And it would almost certainly kill him. 100% chance to hit, but there's still the graze chance. We'll leave you for last. Alright. No one's on Overwatch, and I would like to get rid of this trooper first so we have a consolidated enemy squad. Alright, you're not quite flanked. Could get a shot in here. But even at this close range, that's not a guaranteed kill. This is a nice spot, and I have the option of seeing which enemies have loot on them, which helps me avoid blowing them up. These civilians are in the way of my grenade, which I'm not too pleased about. I could still chuck it in through the window. I actually have a flanking shot there. I do have a flanking shot there. I mean, half cover versus this guy isn't too bad. Maybe I should just flashbang him. And your shot on him. That's pretty good, and I do not want to be grenaded today. Alright.
Hostile terminated. Draining ammo fast.
All done, mechanic. Alright. This drone's a problem. It'll stun our soldiers. Still have another flank from here. But you're the best target for Templar. Well, actually, that drone is, if that's not too high up. Which it might well be. Can get a flashbang in there. Don't have to worry about him too much. Maybe someone doesn't have a flanking shot. If we could guarantee this kill, that would be very helpful. I should hope that between two soldiers with flanking shots, this aggressive move won't be punished.
X-ray neutralized.
There we go.
Gonna need to reload soon.
And that frees up space over here. And maybe we can pop a grenade onto
Tired of waiting around.
that drone. Shred some of the armor. Yeah, already locked you in place, so can't grenade.
Heading out.
That drone picked a really good spot. Alright, we'll see how effective this flashbang is. Yeah, it's not happening. Unfortunately, at this time, I don't have any other form of shredding. But a little stun is not the biggest problem in the world, so let's deal with the gunner. Oh, you can hit. Okay, well that's a pretty good chance of a kill. And you should be able to move afterwards. I don't know what that's going to look like, but let's see what happens. Alright, no problem. All that remains is the gunner. Do the old blow the cover and shoot from high ground. Did not blow the cover. It's not a terrible shot, though.
Target neutralized.
Alright.
Training ammo fast.
On the move.
Really wish those civilians weren't there. Oh, great, yes. Now they're yelling and bringing whatever else is on this map here. But I don't expect it's very much.
I'm trusting you here.
Cover and, I mean, might as well take the shot.
That is not good.
And we'll have one Overwatch.
Some damage here.
Alright, well, two took care of the ablative armor, but Mechanic is otherwise unharmed. And now is this trooper is just fodder for my Templar's focus. This might trigger another group, but at least we'll have another move afterwards. Alright, well, concealment's done. And I very much want that loot. No one has a single move to that one. So that's going to be a risky prospect.
Moving to position. I have the asset.
Advanced scope. Probably the other pod is just a drone, but I don't really want to
On your order.
gamble that.
Here I come.
I think Vasquez might just be,
So, here it is.
might just grab that. Okay. And then I'm just gonna smart Overwatch everyone. And this will have Shane here reload and then Overwatch.
It's killing time.
Very handy.
It's killing time. Now. Overwatch.
On account of he has 2 action points.
I'm on it.
Go get some. Overwatch.
Affirmative, covering now.
Okay. Just gotta deal with this last pod. I assume there's only one more.
I guess that'll be okay.
I'm on it.
On the move.
Let's do this. Let's rock. Oh yeah.
Let's rock.
Alright, everyone reloaded, and now we're gonna creep single file.
On your order. Overwatch.
Come get some.
Go get
Overwatch.
Or they'll show themselves to us.
Some resemblance to the sectoids first encountered during the invasion. Their genetic structure now includes human DNA. They are stronger than ever, with even greater psionic potential.
Target's still up.
Wow, only one Overwatch. Got some nice cover there. I think that trooper's not going to survive this next
Moving to
part.
position.
And I don't want to deal with any mind control at all. So
Flashbang.
let's just preemptively flashbang.
Let's move already.
Moving to position.
Heading out.
I can do that.
Getting it done.
Getting it done.
So they're both flashbanged, and in addition to pinning them down with Overwatch, most weapons get the steady weapon action, which ends your turn, and gives an aim bonus to the next shot, and crit chance, which is good if an Overwatch isn't likely and a shot into cover is even less likely. But I still want enough Overwatch that they decide to shoot from where they are. And mechanic's a little out in the open here, which I don't like. So maybe I should put someone in a worse position. Just because Mechanic has already used her ablative armor. Alright, we got 40, Overwatch 50. Might as well try and remove the threat.
Maybe a flesh wound.
Great. So the aim is now down to 38 minus whatever our cover is, which for low is either 20 or 30, so not a huge threat. And then I might as well. Now let's Overwatch here. Great. Okay, so sectoid has Overwatch, but a grenade, any amount of damage will help deal with that. And drop the aim to 48. I think it was 55 before, so it's not a huge difference, red fog, with the quadratic, but I think what they mean by quadratic is, you know, the difference up to this point will be, you know, just as much, again, penalty. And you cannot quite reach the sectoid, which is a shame. Certainly get a kill on that trooper. %50 is not bad.
Get it together.
Especially when you have 6 rifles pointing. And probably best to refresh the flashbangs. I'm pretty sure this is the last pod. But we should take advantage and push a little closer. That's a nice
I'm on it.
spot.
Target eliminated. Weapons burning ammo fast.
And now we're just dealing with the sectoid. Who is dead? Oh. Friendly fire from Volt. Never mind. Okay, so that's one flanked shot, probably 80 or so to hit.
On your order.
It's potential of doing 5 damage. We lose loot. I'll just take some shots.
Hostile target down.
Positive confirmation.
All
Area
right.
Secured. Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
Excellent. All right. Well, 9 versus 10, so pretty easy mission to start with.
And despite the destruction left in their wake, XCOM refuses to let go of the ways of the old world. They will continue their wanton and reckless crimes until the entire world burns around.
Alright, and okay, so Junior is going to be a specialist, and this class has also been totally overhauled, and ordinarily you'd have to choose one of these 3, but I have it such that I could spend AP and grab multiple from the same rank. No real choices here at the first rank, but we get Aid Protocol for Junior, Haywire, and Ranged Hack, all thanks to the Gremlin. Alright, Maggie is a Shinobi. Delightful. Alright, so that's one of the new classes. Mostly stealth and melee focused. Can reduce the preparation time for missions, which will come into play later. Remains concealed. Fleche, or Flesh. This is an extraordinarily powerful ability. I've seen it do up to 12 damage. Really helps to have high movement range for this. And it's an additional bonus damage for 4 tiles. And you don't get a move afterwards, but it does help a lot to just dish out a lot of damage on one target, even if you leave your Shinobi exposed. Alright. And Dale is a gunner. So we've got a knife he can use, suppression, base, and area suppression, which has some interesting interactions with, I think it's the peek from Concealment mod, which makes this a little more unreliable than it normally would be in the base game. So some of my own mods are interacting. Anyway, this does 4-tile radius, which is rather large, grants reaction fire against anyone in that space, and it suppresses them all slightly. And it uses a lot of ammo, but it's a very good ability. So, knives and light machine guns. Selamat, we've got a ranger, which, contrary to XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM 2 base game, while it does not carry a sword, but rather a sawed-off shotgun, and fills the basic rifleman role, getting 2 shots instead of a movement and a shot. So just basic frontliner. Eventually get some good flanking bonuses, highly accurate, a solid infantry. Vasquez. It's going to be a grenadier, very appropriate. Yep, at this level, just launch grenade. And one of the nice things about Long War is most of the classes are not limited to which primary weapon they're using, and they all have slightly different stats. So if I wanted Vasquez to move further and but deal a little less damage and have some accuracy fall-offs at range, I could give her an SMG. Or a shotgun even, if I wanted to have grenades for long range and shotgun for close range. A lot of customization options. Alright. Then we've got Walsh. Shane here, who is a technical, which has a combination of a rocket launcher and a flamethrower. Both very useful. I like to give these soldiers shotguns, which sort of tends to put them in range for the very short-range flamethrower. And then Mechanic here is a sharpshooter. Nice. New sniper ability, sharpshooter ability. We get hollow target, is delegated. So if you have used one of your movement points to move, you still have a useful option. And this functions rather like the ability from the base game, but instead you don't actually take a shot. Later on you can get this so that it, with a cooldown, doesn't take an action, which I like to take a lot, which is good. Okay. Loot, we got Lyrium Core, Combat Awareness. Ooh, point of Armor went on Overwatch. That's probably really good for our Ranger. Suppressor, Impact on Mission Infiltration Time, which will be very important. In fact, a lot of these basic weapon modifications we can manufacture ourselves now, so we don't necessarily have to rely on the black market or drops. And the scope, which is specifically limited to non-reaction fire shots. And another thing is all of the weapon mods, once we've unlocked their use, can be stripped off of weapons in Long War and reapplied to other weapons. So we could customize every single loadout to make full advantage. The caveat to that is we are going to have multiple squads going on different missions at the same time, so we do want to spread the love around here. We got some alloys, lyrium, 25 supplies, and a set of corpses. Great. Ah,
When you're tired
okay.
or hungry or just need a
Well, that's an appropriate bond. Well, Dale's a heavy gunner, not the sniper.
The new uniform isn't bad considering, but
I
sometimes
might
do
go with
miss
that.
Damn sweater.
Might be interesting to get some of the Walking Dead characters to, there we go. Maggie and Shane.
Incoming transmission.
Awesome. Dale and Vasquez. That's fun. Okay, so a number of options for that. Alright, regarding the game, first off, let's get research going.
Impressive, isn't it?
And could go for resistance comms, but I would like the modular weapons taken care of so we can actually take advantage of the loot we grabbed.
Research to be among the more intriguing options available.
And then for engineering, so this is going to fill out pretty quickly, and soon we'll have access to manufacturing our own mods. But we do have access to this, which is very strong at destruction of walls and buildings and things, but doesn't really deal damage. I'm not sure if it... I don't remember if it deals no damage or just... It has a very small area of effect. For facilities, I'm going to immediately use basically all my money and throw up a resistance ring. Oh, it's not as expensive as I thought. Because I want to get those covert actions going. And unfortunately, I do not have an engineer available right now. But that will change soon.
Tell me something, Doctor. Must have been pretty cushy working with Advent.
Alright, now the meat of Long War of the Chosen. We have resistance management. So on the Geoscape, we have individual resistance cells and the havens that can have their that can be attacked by Advent. But we can actually staff these now, and we can have these individual what call these I don't know, our civilians, essentially. They can either be gathering intel, they can be hiding, which will reduce, and this is not just passive, although it is the default action that our resistance members take when they're recruited. This actively hides the activities of other resistance members and will help prevent attacks against this particular haven. They can also produce supply, and now this is the only form of supply that we have access to. And they can also recruit. When you have a Haven Advisor, that's actually one of your leveled up soldiers, which you then set, and they will be available for the defense of the Haven, if and when it's attacked. But in addition to that, they will act as a resistance operative in the recruitment task. So they will be recruiting additional resistance members. So I am engineers and scientists, I believe, work on supplies and intel respectively, but you can put a soldier in there, and I think it's a good idea because while it does take away one of your active roster, it also ensures a little bit of defense for the Haven. So for right now, I'm most interested in intel, because right now we don't actually know what Advent's doing at all. And unlike in the vanilla game, we will not be offered a choice of missions. We have to delegate resistance members to actively investigate and research available missions and how quickly they find those missions, i.e. how many of them we have looking for those missions, will determine the available window of action that we will have when sending out a squad. If we find out about a mission too late to do anything about it, that's where we run into our resources having been spread too thin. So for right now, I really want to just keep everyone on intel, and I don't really have a good option. I'd love to throw one of my new soldiers into the Haven, but right now Salamat is kind of the only option. You can't throw a rookie in because everyone else has. Well, I mean, we've got the Walking Dead crew, which I don't want to slate to being Haven management. And right now, so I could throw Mechanic in. And they should be equipped. So they actually, if you equip them with items, they will take that and then have that equipment available for the Haven defense missions. So how about I just, between those two, because they don't have any bonds available, let's just roll a d20. Alright, 20, so Mechanic is going in. Alright. So acting as a recruiter, because Mechanic is a soldier, and hopefully we'll be able to train up another sharpshooter soon. But I do want this, the number of resistance operatives to increase as quickly as possible without losing intel opportunities. So right now...
Command.
Right, I believe this is always the first task that the Avenger can undertake, and we will be doing this as long as, yes, we are researching and we are building our first building, so we're not wasting any time here. So we're going to go check it out.
New course.
My people understand the value of our cooperation, Commander. The Elders see us as nothing more than raw materials for their design. We will take back our power and turn it against them. I greet you as an ally, facing a shared enemy. My followers seek balance with the psionic forces that flow through the Earth and all its inhabitants. We channel this energy, aided by technology of our own design, to pursue justice for those who have fallen victim to the Elders and their servants.
So I just gotta express my appreciation to Firaxis for hiring voice actors from Star Trek: The Next Generation. We've got Q as Geist. We've got Riker, who is Volk, and Troy as the default Reaper that you get. So that's just fun having their voices in there. But anyway, we can select this actual Haven. No, we don't want to. We can select it. And it's the same interface that you saw in the Commander's Quarters. But basically, as we gain access to all of these regions, they will each have their own roster of resistance operatives that are working for us, which I think is just really cool. Right now, we do have the relay that XCOM, the first region you starts with. So right now, using this for supply is more efficient than the next one that I'm going to get access to. But unfortunately, we just really need a mission right now. And the more time we wait around, there's not a whole lot to do. The other thing is, the black market now trades in supplies. Alright, so the black market would like my Illyrium and Suppressor. And that's well and good, but I'm hoping they have... Unfortunately, I don't have enough for an engineer. I need 15 more supplies. So, yeah, let's sell something. Because while the first mission probably will have an engineer as a reward, the income from salvaging the sections of the Avenger is really going to help. So for 15, how about you take 3 of these troopers? Alright, and now I'm going to be totally broke. But I will have an engineer excavating. Who is this? We got Alejandro Diaz. Great. And the first
we currently have
thing...
no new supplies coming in. We'll need to seek out new means of replenishing our resources.
Yeah, I'm working on that, Bradford. So let's get this excavating because it's going to take the least amount of time. It only gives 43. But I don't want to wait any amount of time to get that on its way. Alright, speaking of the base, we've got power coils on the bottom, which is pretty good, because the best things to build there are the really expensive, like the shadow chamber, etc., that cost the most power, are free if built here, and those will be available about the same time, or probably much later. But that'll do. Alright, so we don't have any wounded soldiers, which is great, but the only thing we have available to do right now is to scan here.
Setting course for East Asia.
Which, in addition to granting us a little bit of intel, will also have the crew of the Avenger working on the same task as all of these resistance operatives. Which is providing guerrilla ops. Alright. So, the biggest change with Long War of the Chosen is that there is no choice here. This is simply a mission. What is important, however, is that the mission has an expiration time. And they also have a preparation time. Depending on who we send, certain soldiers like Shinobi and Reapers reduce the infiltration time required. Wow, 2-turn objective timer. That's nuts. You want me to sabotage a transmitter in 2 turns? I hope the timer only starts after concealment's broken. Otherwise, this is going to be really difficult. Okay. Anyway, we are going to send Sandman. Alright, first I'm going to clear this. Alright, so for sure, we're going to send Maggie. Always like to have a stealth-based unit, usually in the first slot, which I think is actually here. So we're gonna move you. And you'll notice up here that we have 6 days and 16 hours in which to launch this mission. Otherwise, we automatically fail it. The infiltration time that just sending in Maggie will take 4 days and 1 hour to set up. And we'll send this squad out and it'll just work at infiltrating, and we can have multiple missions running at the same time. The expected activity at in those 4 days and 1 hour will be 7 to 9 aliens, so I don't think we're sending just Maggie in, although I have done missions where I sent just one really sneaky person in, and that's worked. However, and so, you know, the proportion here means that we can actually over-prepare up to 200%, and that will further reduce the awareness of the enemies as well as the response time for any potential reinforcements. So I love this system. It's really rich in detail and makes it... There's a lot of numbers that go into it, but it feels very organic in that you just have you have a big roster, and there's a lot of missions going on and all the time, and you just need to try and manage the entire system. So Maggie is not going in just by herself, but just looking at her equipment baseline, we've got the Kevlar armor. This is just a visual tweak, and with the custom character it doesn't make any difference. SMG, which is the Shinobi default, does not incur a movement speed penalty, so her mobility is 17 tiles, which is incredible. And however, I do still have the option of equipping her with the shotgun or the assault rifle, both of which will reduce her mobility by 3. And one other interaction is this mobility stat directly ties into the amount of time that it takes to prepare for a given mission. So if you bring in a very small, lightly equipped squad, they will have the time to strike when the enemy activity is really low. However, if you just rush in and try and infiltrate a, enormous stack of soldiers that are all packed to the teeth, Advent's going to see that coming, and they are going to absolutely stack their own forces. So the objective's what's important here, so we need to balance, and typically I like to operate where everything is green, which means that we will, in the 6 days and 16 hours, fully prepare for the mission, which generally means that we will start with Concealment. Sometimes, in this particular case, we're going to start Concealed regardless, but certain missions will require 100% preparation in order to start with Concealment. Alright, we can also give her a pistol. This is just a cosmetic difference, but as you can see, her mobility goes down again. And each additional item sacrifices mobility, -1 in this case, -1 in this case, -1 in this case. So if we wanted her to be as fast and light as possible, we could clear her of all of these items. And she would end up with 20 mobility, but all she'd be carrying would be a SMG and a sword, which I don't believe I can drop, nor would I. This would be entirely more appropriate for Michonne, but we'll see what she is. I believe I set her to Shinobi as well. Maggie was random, although I do like Shinobi. So let's kit her out. Does not need a pistol. And because I have Red Fog, I do want to take some medkits, but the frag, flashbang, and ceramic plating. Oh, this is the ablative armor item, by the way. They can't be regained, but they don't count towards wound time. So everyone's going to have some sort of ablative armor always, unless I have some really weird ideas going on. So I'm going to keep her base equipment. We don't have access to weapon mods yet, so that's fine. Alright, so we got a scout. I do want to send a couple rookies out. So Shinobi's also a melee character, so the Fury is probably going to head up our second team. So we could just throw in... Well, let's see, yeah, Alright, we've got someone without a call sign already, which makes me think that she's from Predator? Or Aliens. So we do need to throw a few rookies in. And at least some heavy weapons. So... send in Dale. Can we make these Maggie and Dale friends? No, not yet. Alright. Well, let's make that a thing. And... so right now, with 3 soldiers, standard equipment, we have set up... we can get up to 145%. So we can continue adding rookies, because we have, 2 ranked soldiers, until that number gets to about 100%. And all these rookies will get experience. However, this last rookie brought it down to 88%, and the expected activity went up to 13 to 15. In addition, somewhat hidden, is that the flare timers, the amount of time it takes for us to evacuate, the amount of time it takes for the Advent reinforcements to hop in once we break concealment, and the general awareness and detection radius of enemies has also gone up because we will not have fully prepared. So this is too much. We can't bring in this many. We could if we strip them of some of their equipment, but let's keep everyone fully equipped. And so we've got a LMG, SMG, and 3 rifles. That's a pretty good... yeah, and everyone's got explosives, flashbangs. There's no mods yet. This'll work. I mean, I'm a little concerned about that. I really hope that starts after the concealment's broken, but we'll see what happens. And hopefully Maggie can get us a path. Anyway, we're going to start the infiltration, but this does not trigger the mission. That squad is going to go off to this point and start infiltrating. And the Avenger is going to continue its own business for 6 days or 5.5 days until this mission is ready. The other thing is that, let's say there was a really difficult mission, the reward of which I really wanted, but I learned of it too late. I could burn some intel to boost the infiltration by 50%, which would mean that you can even do this retroactively if you decide that something is worthwhile, which costs intel but can make a mission viable when it otherwise wouldn't be. So if we launch the mission right now, which we can do, the enemy readiness is impregnable, which means all of the previous things, such as the detection radius, the reinforcements, the number of enemies on the field, are all far too much for the five rookie and squad soldiers that I sent out, so that would be terribly ill-advised to do. I can also abort it, bring it back, I can take a look at the squad, and yeah, or I can wait and continue business elsewhere. And we're just going to continue to scan.
I think you will find our results have exceeded expectations.
Alright, so we got modular weapons, which we can give to the second squad we send out. We also have the ability to, once we get the proving ground up, research suppressors, autoloaders, hair triggers, etc., so that we can start manufacturing them, which will be very handy. Suppressors in particular are not a necessity necessarily, but if everyone's got a suppressor, it means the entire squad can infiltrate faster. Speaking of autoloaders, I do have a mod enabled such that they aren't automatically used the first X number of reloads. I can press a button on the UI and opt to use them, which makes a lot more sense. So the weapons can be manually reloaded and not waste the mod. A lot of these have changed slightly, so hair triggers just affect Overwatch fire instead of a chance of extra shots. High capacity magazines, pretty straightforward. Stocks give an extra chance after missing to do a graze, which is reduced damage shot you get from long war. Crits, non-reaction fire for scopes, and yeah. How long would that take? 9 days? So those weapons are really good. But I'm pretty keen to get the communications going, especially since I do have the intel at the moment. Plus, I don't think I don't have the proving grounds to even manufacture this, so while I am wasting quote-unquote 9 days of research by not taking the double speed, still going to go for resistance communications, because getting those radio relays up as quick as possible, spreading out, getting as many havens is going to increase our income, etc.
I agree. That is an important task, Commander.
Thank you, Tegan.
I was not going to admit it to Shen, but there is one thing I miss more than my lab equipment. Those damn juicy Advent burgers.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get the meat, and frankly, I do not want to know.
We've got... Yeah, so we're just going to continue to scan while this... Alright, so we have another target. This one expires in 4 days, 13 hours, and is going to hack a resistance computer. So if I have a specialist, this will be the place to send them. During the squad, and we've got Delta Squad. Alright. Cool. Okay, so Junior, you're going. And I am going to take away your frag and give you a medkit. And then we're going to send Junior. And I'm not sure how many missions on Commander difficulty I can expect to have to deal with. Before my first mission, I get those soldiers back. Because right now they're not available on the roster because they're infiltrating. So, either way, I still want to get my rookies leveled up. So, it's probably a good idea. Actually, could just keep your mobility as high as possible. Flashbang's always good, and yeah. %10 more mobility on a melee character or a frag grenade. When everyone's got frag grenades. Yeah. Let's go with that. It'll come in handy. Okay. Now we have the option to add mods to weapons. And I think I'm just gonna send... Oh, okay. We're already pushing the 100% because this was a late discovery of this mission. So... Concealed start, 7 turns, 7 to 9 enemies. Now, if I give the 50% boost for the 20 intel, I got more room on the squad. I think a basic rookie isn't gonna... Yeah, okay, so I could still bring another rookie. And I could even... help with the aim of Junior with a scope and suppressor. And that brings it 103. Can we get another rookie in? Not quite. I feel a lot more comfortable with 4 versus... Well, this is total overkill for the 7 to 9. Alright, well, okay. So, burning 20 intel. The rewards are 27 intel, but really what we need is the experience on these soldiers. So I can send in Junior Fury, the Cleaner, Alguacil, and Charlemagne. Junior's got a little better of a weapon. And if I boost it, then I'll be able to get these soldiers out to that before they can reinforce it. So let's do that. So we're only gaining 7 intel, but... Oh, 25. So we're gaining 2 intelligence for this. But we are getting some much-needed experience. And now, this will fill much faster. Great. And we still have, because we've used a whole bunch of rookies, plenty of... Right, V... Okay, yeah. Paused. I did pause. Oh, okay. So Delta is now available. So... Okay. So here's another mission that starts in 1 day and 4 hours. I don't think this is happening. Although, oh my goodness, we've got Location Scout, which is a very powerful sit rep. Alright, for the moment, we're going to ignore this and deal with the situation of Delta. So, technically, we've got another 13 hours before the mission expires. And we could use those 13 hours to get this above 100% infiltrated, which would decrease the enemy readiness below normal. It isn't, however, going to reduce the number of enemy soldiers and aliens, etc. So I think it's time to launch, and this will be the beginning of the next episode. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time with the beginning of Operation Sweaty Beast.